Choose your character.
All right. Welcome back to the Geekset podcast, the only podcast that blend hip-hop culture and geek culture together. I'm your boy Deuces, and this is 101 with Deuces, the place where I speak with creators, curators, and people that you should know. And right now, man, we have a very, very special guest, somebody that, like, as I did more research, I became more of a fan of her. But we have the amazingly talented Jaimi Gray. How are you doing?
What's up? I'm really good. I feel good. So that's always good. Life is hard.
Man, life is wild lately. But you know,
Ooh.
I've been having these conversations. So I started this series during the pandemic, right? It was one of our attempts to make sure that we don't lose steam, you know, outside of just doing the podcast. But one of the things that I realized is that, especially for those voice actors who tend to have their home studio so that way they can do stuff, it didn't really impact them as heavily as far as work-wise, just more so mental-wise. Was that your case?
Ooh, well, I mean, just like, you know, your podcast, you know, started skyrocketing even more during the pandemic. My voiceover career, you know, pretty much skyrocketed during the pandemic, which was a blessing. Like, you know, when everything shut down, who would have thought, like, finally I'm, you know, booking on networks. So I didn't create my home studio until like a couple months after my first network booking. But it's like everyone had to do this. Everyone kind of took their time. But I'd say around the end of 2020, even the biggest professional actors, you know, they finally started getting home studios because we didn't always need it. So some people were doing it and a lot of us weren't.
So big up to Noriega and the Drink Champs. They have normalized making sure that we are giving people their flowers while we're here. And I want to make sure that I do that with you because this what drove me to you, of course. But like, so my daughter loves Miraculous. And so, you know, and so when I found out that you voiced Jess / Eagle, I was like, oh, okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's also a Black lady. So it's like, it's for that representation. It was really good for my daughter to see that. But then also, again, she loves Bratz dolls, and I was like,
oh my gosh.
I'm like, oh, okay, so this is really dope. And then so it's like, and then also, like I said, with RainbowHigh,
yes,
it's like, okay, so it's like, you know, and I'm like, all right, I gotta talk to her a little bit more because, like, again, I love seeing our people jump into spaces, right, and be in spaces where it's like, okay, usually they'll get, you know, just another voice actor, and to voice this character of color, and it was like, well, let's make sure we give it to actors of color as well. But then also seeing your hosting chops and everything, I was like, oh yeah, you are out here with it. And so I want to say, you know, thank you for all that you're doing, because I know that a lot of people, like even with animation, people tend to think like voice acting is okay, I just turn on the mic and I talk. I got way too high of a respect for what you guys do to minimalize what you guys do to that. And I know that it takes a lot to get the inflections, to get the tone, to try to convey an emotion through your voice acting work. So thank you for all that you bring to the community.
Thank you. Woo, this is a shout out. Okay, I love it. And thank you so much. And yeah, you're so right. Like, so many people are like, oh, I have a nice voice, so I should get into it. And it's like, that could be a start, but it's like your normal voice could be, you know, what books you, it could be anything. But yeah, I mean, it's so much more than just a voice. It is pure acting, and you have to really bring that character to life. But that's so dope that your daughter loves Bratz and Miraculous. Like, tell her I said hi.
Oh yeah.
Tell her her dolls and all that. And then I don't know if does she watch RainbowHigh?
I believe she does.
Well, if she hasn't, we're on season 3, you know, and it's getting even better. The dolls has so much representation, probably the prettiest dolls I've ever seen. Yeah. And I was never really into dolls growing up. I was a tomboy. I was a Beanie Baby. I might have said Beanie Babies, you know, back in the 90s, but not, you know, dolls like that. I had hand-me-downs, but now I own my dolls. So it's full circle.
Now, and it's what's funny is because like RainbowHigh, Bratz, and all that, that's like the now Barbie, right? Because like even like a lot of little girls who like the traditional Barbies, they are like leaning towards it, especially because of like the fashion that they put on these new dolls. But like that we have like shows now that's called like the Toys That Made Us that detail the history of Barbie. And you are a part of this history now forever, which is going to be so dope in 20, 30 years when they tell the story. They got to go over your character.
It's crazy when you put it like that. And I'll be honest with you, I have to remind myself, honestly, daily, where I'm like, Jaimie, you're a Bratz doll. And usually like, there are other actors that will portray the role, but I'm the first voice of Felicia. Yeah. And we had like the core 4 girls that they know, and there was the Black girl Sasha, but Felicia was pretty rare, and all the Bratz fans, like really heavy Bratz fans, knew who she was, right. But I wasn't super familiar with her. But she's the first dark skin character, which Black girls in general, they need representation in all shades. Because when I was a kid, I wasn't really into dolls, but also because I didn't think they were that cute. We didn't have a lot of variety. Nope. Our dolls that were colored were put on the sale rack. We weren't popular, but Bratz was probably the first line that I saw where we saw beautiful Black dolls. Mm-hmm. And it's just so important. But yeah, I have to remind myself that all the time, like, Jaimie, this is bigger than you.
Yeah.
And Bratz is huge. But yeah, as far as Barbie, I mean, Barbie is Barbie. I'm not even going to try to, Barbie is up here, but Bratz definitely met its level where, it really changed the game. It really did. When Bratz came out, I felt like it was too grown for me. It was kind of controversy around it. And then I know they had like some legal battles between MGA with Bratz and with Mattel with Barbie, but hey, that's business.
Now, I know that you are a Blurred, but have you been able to go to a convention yet since you voiced these characters?
Not yet. So I'm sure I will. Like, I used to go to conventions before. I've been to Anime Expo. Yeah. I was supposed to go to Comic-Con, but pandemic and all that. I love going to red carpets. Like, the last carpet I did was in 2020 from My Hero Academia, and I met Christopher Sabat. Bawled my eyes out when I got back home. And this was 2020, like beginning of 2020. So I just need you to understand, Vegeta is my favorite character.
Oh no, I know. I
put let's go.
Because of that, we in our studio we have multitude of figures, but I knew that Vegeta was your favorite. And
I love that. Yeah, okay, you want it. See, and I had like a Vegeta action figure. It's probably at my hometown house. But anyway, to interview Christopher Sabat at that premiere was crazy, and I told him, I was like, we're gonna work together one day, and I feel like that is gonna happen eventually. Me and Chris Sabat. Fingers crossed, because I totally believe in myself. But
yes, you do. I got some stuff I want to tell you about.
Oh, okay. But yeah, other than that, yeah, I mean, for things to just kind of to shift like that with me hosting, and then to be on Disney and doing Miraculous, and then to also being Felicia on Bratz and hosting, like it's just full circle. Like God is over my journey, like clearly.
It's like, what they say on Twitter, like, how does it feel to be God's favorite, right? Like,
I'm favored.
Right.
I didn't ask for this life.
It's just blessed and highly favored.
It is what it is.
So to get into your story, I know that you talked about it, but January 15th, 2015 is a very important date to you. For those who don't know your story, why is that date so important to you?
It's important. For me, and I think, it's important just for other people when they're on this journey towards, their dream. But that was when I took the leap and I moved to California, to LA. I had never, ever been to the West Coast, not Arizona, not Vegas, not California. I had never been. I just said, you know what? I'm going to ship my car out there. I saved up all my money. I was working at a credit union, and I used money and gift cards that I got, like bare minimum. But when you're fresh and young, you know how to stretch a dollar.
Yes.
So I was like, all right, I know how to save a coin now. Okay. I know how to, pinch a penny and get, and just get to where I need to be. But I had job interviews lined up with contract companies like Robert Half and Office Team. I definitely recommend that for people in other areas because they're all over the country.
Right.
So, no matter what area you're in, their job is to get you a job. So I was like, if I'm going to move to LA where I know it's expensive, I'd rather, feel miserable in LA than miserable in Virginia where I'm not where I want to be.
Right.
And so that's when I just made the plan, stayed on an air mattress for a few months. And then, it was very rough my first year, money-wise, finding housing in LA is no joke. But now, like where I was to where I am now, it's like it's the knowledge and the experience that I've built. But whoo, it was rough.
What I love about that story and your story, because you not only, like I said, that you use gift cards and money to it, but it's the hustle. It's the doing a commercial for the credit union that you work with and using that money to help fund you get there.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that. It's like you hear this story and people always like, oh, everybody lived out their car. Everybody slept on an air mattress. But it's like, it's truly a hustle because you got to think like you are moving to a whole area that has a higher cost of living off of a dream. So yeah, it's like you may have in Virginia, you may have not struggled, you may have not had to because of your situation, but going out on your own and living in there and being thrown into this world, yeah, you're going to struggle a little bit, and it's about can you take it? Because there's a lot of people who make that move and then they're right back in Virginia 6 months later.
Ooh. Yeah, and imagine with the pandemic too, but usually like when I moved out here, most people move away within 6 months to a year. Yeah. Like they move out quick. And I'm like, you didn't give it a full year, but that first year, I mean, if you can make it past year 1 and 2, yeah, you can definitely get to where you need to be, but it's perseverance. Like, yeah.
And so the reason why I said that, I can tell that you believe in yourself, and I don't even think you noticed this. And I got some things that I want to bring up to you.
Okay.
Just detailing, like I said, your journey and everything. May 3rd, 2012. So on that date, you tweeted out and you said, "One day I'll be on a red carpet pulling pranks in my Armani dress." And then, like about a year and a half later, you started working with Hollywood Live and being on red carpet. And I was like, wow, that's manifestation. But then on June 1st, 2015, you tweeted, "I want to do voice acting so bad." And 5 years later, you booked Miraculous. Yeah. And then June 30th, 2012, you tweeted, "I want to be in a commercial. I need an agent." And 2 years later, you do your commercial for Call Federal.
Wow. Isn't that crazy? And like, even when I was tweeting those things, I had no idea at times how to do it. Like my first voice acting class was 2016. And that's because I was able to cough up the money to take the intro class. It was $99. That's how little money I had at that time. Cause it's so expensive out here. But you just have to learn all that. But yo, you on it. Like with this research, I love that you went back to 2012. I was like, dang, but yeah, it's really a blessing, to see the trajectory of my career. And, I don't take it lightly and I do have humility about it, but it's like, I try to become balanced with being humble, but also just knowing who the fuck I am. Because it's like, you don't want to just be so humble that you're overlooked or that you're downplaying yourself, because you just have to be careful. But humility is important. And so that's what's going to keep you going. Because I was like, dang, what if I don't book anything else after Miraculous? So that's why I was like on it. Let me book Bratz. Let me get an agent. And I did all last year. So I was on hustle mode,
Congrats.
Yeah.
And don't worry about you having don't worry about you having to identify, to like say that you're doing it, because you can just call me Sitgo, because I'm gonna go ahead.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and gas you up. But that's the one thing too that I love about blurred culture, is that we have so many people hyping everybody up, and it's one of the reasons why I love this culture so much. It's like, I love seeing you interact with other Black actors and voice actors, throughout the world, but I also love seeing other podcasts big you up and other cosplayers big you up and stuff like that. And I just love that camaraderie that we have. And I know it comes out of necessity because most people aren't going to do it for us.
That's so true. Yeah. But it's like you have to know it yourself. And one thing I've been working on is you don't always want to get that outside validation. Like it's it and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me I'm good. Tell me I'm great. But it's like you have to know that for yourself. So if someone tells me, Jaimie, you're good, that's
Mm-hmm.
not validation, that's confirmation, because I should already know that. So that's just what I've been working on,
Right.
like
that's
I
a word.
know.
That's a word right there.
Confirmation. You're on the right track.
So the path to Black Hollywood Live, when you started doing a lot of hosting, red carpets and stuff like that, how did that come about?
Oh my goodness. So I had always wanted to do hosting, right? And I'll be very transparent. AfterBuzz is a program where they allow a lot of hosts and people who want to build up their career a chance, and you get a lot of exposure. So that was great. Got to do the podcast with them, and meet other actors who would visit that we would do after shows on, or doing the carpets, which were hectic. But pretty much you have to apply. So I applied, and you have to have a demo reel. My only demo reel I had was from college. So what I did was me and a friend, we went to the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And I just made up a reel where I started asking people about the topics of that time, like when Kathy Griffith cut off, had like the Donald Trump
thing.
Yeah. So I was asking people about that, like things like that, and just so that they could see, like, I can do this. Like I'm a natural, like put me on. And so I got in and I just hit the ground running, because I was like, I knew what I wanted. I signed up for tons of shows to do podcasts for. I wanted to do all the red carpets, and I did tons of research. And keep in mind, there are some interviews and podcast shows where I'm like cringing, but I'm like, Jaimie, you were young, and it's exposure, and it's like, it's all a learning thing. Like, don't be embarrassed about something, and there's a lot of good work that you have in there. So all of it was a learning experience that you should be proud of. Like, don't delete it. Don't do none of that. Like, look how far you've come. You always wanted to do this. Like, I went to school for it. So yeah, that's what happened. And they're on hiatus right now just because everything with the pandemic, and I think they're building back up. But for what it was during that time, it was awesome.
Nice. So
yeah.
So continuing down your path. So you said that you got an agent last year, but you did Miraculous before that. So
yeah.
So you was hustling before even having that agent, and Miraculous being such a big property. Was that just an open cast call, or like how did you end up there?
So so you can actually join studio rosters. Like, you can book without an agent. Okay. It's hard, but you can do it. Now you'll get better opportunities for bigger network gigs when you're with an agent. Like, now I'm getting like mind-blowing auditions where I'm like, God, come on now, I'm trying to book this. Like, let's go. Because I'm so close to becoming SAG. And so it's beautiful too, because people can watch my journey. Because everything I'm doing, I've been very honest. Like, Miraculous was my first big animated feature, and for it to be on Disney Channel, like, what? Right. But anyway, I got the email, and to submit an audition. I was like, I think my nieces watch this show. So I auditioned for like 5 characters. Okay. I believed in myself. Okay. Maybe I was a little bit over the top, but I think that's how you do, like, when you're just so oblivious. And I knew Miraculous was big, but I didn't realize how big. And so I didn't realize that it was on Disney, until I had booked, and I was like, oh, is this on Disney Channel? Whole time when I booked, the day I booked, I got in it wasn't a car accident. Someone broke into my car. LA. I was so upset though. Nothing was broken or stolen, because I keep my car pretty clean, but it was still upsetting, and threw me for a loop. But then that evening I saw the email, and I was like, hold on, what did I just read? And it tells me I'm cast, and I'm like, what? And then I realized like who my character is, how many lines I got. Okay, how big is she? And I was like, wait, she has a Miraculous? Like, she actually transforms. She transforms into 2 heroes. I was mind blown, and I feel like she was the perfect first animated character I could have ever had. She's everything I always wanted to be as a kid. Like, I was a tomboy. She does parkour and skateboarding, plays guitar. Like, she's dope as hell. Like, and hold on, I got.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
This is one of the many pillows, but this is like her before her transformation. And this is her as a hero when she transforms. So that was such a dope opportunity, man. And let me also say this, manifestation, because when that same studio, I knew someone there who I used to like take my dog to, because I was really busy. I was like, please take care of my dog for like 2 hours while I go run some errands. And it was at the studio where they record it. And I was like, they record anime there, all that good stuff. And I was like, I'm gonna know what it's like past those doors one day. And that was like 2019. And they have these double doors where like all the staff would go through, and I'm like, all right, I'll see y'all later. And I'm like, one day I'm gonna know what it looks like. I'm gonna know what it's like. A year later, 2020, I'm there, I'm walking down the halls, and I'm like, this is crazy. Yeah. I manifested this.
Nice.
So, yeah.
You like queen manifestation. Like, you just manifest things. Like, tell me some stuff that you want for me to be successful with, so it can come true.
I know you got your documentary coming out too.
Yeah.
Your documentary. So like, so many great things are happening for you as well. Listen, it's only up from here.
It's only up from here. So, okay, all right. So, because I got a few questions in regards to that. So, one, who was the first person that you told once you got?
Oh, who was the first person I told? I'm pretty sure I told my family.
Okay.
Because my nieces and all that. So I want to say the first person I probably called was either my mom or my sister. Mm-hmm. Like, my parents together, but they don't really know Miraculous. So I'm pretty sure I called my sister, and I was like, guess what? And I was like, I got the role. She was like, what? And it was just surreal for both of us, because we still didn't know what to expect. Like, I had taken classes, I've done the training, but to do it professionally, and it was dubbing, so I have to match the lip flaps just like anime. It was amazing, and all that as my first experience. Yeah.
Now, was the character animated already before you got to it? Like, was there like a reveal where you got to see the character and have a moment?
That's a good question. So no, we didn't get to see any of the characters, what they look like. They just gave us descriptions. Mm-hmm. They described Jess and Eagle as like a very, she's a good soldier, very tough, but like misunderstood, things like that, little specs like that. They gave the age, but they didn't have any visuals. So I did not know what she looked like until like a month after I auditioned. And it looks a little bit different because before it's rendered and, professionally produced, the hair looks different. Her hair was like golden brown. Okay. Whereas in reality, her hair is dark brown, but it looked different. I was like, oh, I guess she's a rebel. But I was like, I don't know if y'all gonna change her hair color, but I'll go with it. Yeah. But then they changed it to dark brown. So I was like, okay, they're just finishing up everything. We got to listen to it weeks beforehand to see like the changes they were making each week. And so I got to hear my voice. It was really awesome. Right.
And so was this was a studio, a theater release, right? Or was it go straight to Disney Plus?
I would say it was a Disney Channel movie release. It wasn't on like in theaters. And plus the pandemic, theaters were closed at that time.
You're right. This is at the start. This is at the start of
it. So I didn't get to have like a premiere or anything like that. But and also when it premiered, it was on Disney Now and Disney Channel. So I was like, when can I announce it? All these things, we can't announce it until we get permission to. Right. But it was pretty dope, because I always think back to watching Disney Channel, and we will wait for those Friday night movie premieres at 8 p.m. And it's like, wow, this is really like, this is me. This is awesome. So.
Yeah. And because I always wonder about that, because like you have those moments, and it's like, I know, like for me, like I'm probably would rip everything. I'm probably okay. I'm gonna take the commercial. I'm gonna put it on my Instagram. All right, I'm gonna take my scene. like
I don't blame you. It's so crazy too, because it was still new to me, and I knew that the fans would love it, but I wasn't expecting the outpour of love. But then I was like, is it too much? Like, how often do I post? Right. I didn't know as many voice actors, but that's when I started to learn more about who my community was when I booked it, because it's just going to make waves. But it was all a learning process for me. I felt like the new kid on the block, although I've been training for years. Yeah. That was my first big thing. So.
Well, they say, as long as you practice and be ready, when the time comes, you'll always be ready. So it's like, you're new to the world, but you've been ready for this your whole life. And it's like, it's one of those things that is like, again, like I said, that I love to be able to like to see, because it's like, for me, it's like, it's the small things that I know that like somebody who's on the grind goes through. Like, I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, the moment when you were able to create your like your profile card where it shows you and all the people that you voice act. I know that you had a moment like, I got one.
Especially when you're waiting for like that next character to drop. I'm like, oh, I just want to add this and add a little emoji for some flavor. Like it feels good, especially like even when I look at my Instagram, I'm like, this is nice. But you know, even in which I'm sure like even when you're doing research, there are certain things that I like, let me archive this, let me hide this and all that. Cause it's like your brand and what do people think when they see me? And I only want to show this image. And, you know, I'm still figuring all of that out, but that's the beauty of the journey. Cause sometimes I'm like, okay, I need to post more. But then I'm like, that's also not really me. I need to hire a team to help me with that because I want to remain authentic in my approach. So yeah.
So I always wondered when you do something like this that has a fandom, do they tell you when your character goes into production? Like as far as like the toys, or do you like just you walking through Target and see it like, oh my God, that's me?
Yeah, good question. Because like with Bratz, thank God for the Bratz fandom. Y'all keep us as the actors in line on everything that's happening because there will be times where I'm like, oh, this doll is coming out. I found out from the fans when my Felicia doll was coming out like ahead of time because they're like, oh, here's the stock photos. I'm like, how do y'all find this stuff? Like they'll find images that aren't even up yet on the internet somehow. It's wild, but I love how much they just love Bratz as a whole and how much they love Felicia. She's a beloved character. Like I did not realize how big, but I love that they welcome me with open arms as well. But yeah, they pretty much put us on game as far as what to expect. And, you know, I'll be lurking. I will sometimes ask the producers like, hey, what can I expect? When is the premiere going to be? Just so I know ahead of time, I can have my Instagram post ready, my Twitter post, things like that.
Okay, cool, man. It seems like such a fun journey, and I'm so excited for you. So, but like, you know, speaking of journeying in, knowing that you are a blurred and, you know, a lover of anime and everything, and I know that, like I said, Vegeta holds a heavy heart, a heavy place in your heart. But it seems like you really like Dragon Ball Z because your dog is named Trunks, right?
Yes. Yeah. That's
so, is Dragon Ball Z your anime origin? So I always ask, like, is that the first anime that you got into?
It's actually not the very first one. I have like, I was prepared for this question too, because I was like, I have my favorite anime per era of my life.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, because it's like when people say like, what's your favorite or your top three? I'm like, for me, it's not fair.
Yeah.
Because I love all different types, mostly shonen. But anyway, DBZ was my ultimate favorite as a child. When I say I was obsessed, my older brother and I would watch it. That was probably like the one thing we could really bond on.
Right.
And we would watch it daily on Toonami. You know, everything on Toonami was what we watched, you know, from Outlaw Star to Yu Yu Hakusho, Tenchi, you know, all the Tenchi universe, Muyo and Tenchi in Tokyo, all of that. And so, yeah, but Vegeta, the first one I watched was, I want to say it was Sailor Moon. Oh, that's the first one that got me obsessed. I remember when it used to come on at 4 p.m. On weekdays. I remember when it came on every day. It wasn't, you know, it was every day, not every week, but every day. It was like, yes, we got to really look forward to it. So this we were glued to TVs. And then of course, like, you know, Pokemon, but I didn't know it was anime back then, Pokemon. And then Dragon Ball Z and Yu Yu Hakusho. They were probably like my favorites as a child.
Yeah, I feel like anybody who really dives deep into Dragon Ball Z, they do deem Vegeta as their favorite, because he's my favorite as well. Because I tell people all the time. So like, there's always the debate about the big three and everything, and I tell people my philosophy is that I'm like, Dragon Ball Z, their storyline may not be better than Naruto or better than Bleach, but as far as action, it is top tier. But Vegeta's character arc is by far one of the greatest character arcs in anime history. Like, period. He went from
it's amazing. I used to do anime music videos of Vegeta. Like, I used to mix R&B songs, even musicals, with the images, because I would watch the episodes, and that's what my first YouTube start was as like an anime music video maker. And I would like do my top 25 funniest moments of DBZ, and that's what I did. And then I started doing like the hair and makeup thing, like all the YouTubers, and but now it's like, yo, you're making a name for yourself. Like, you're really supposed to do so. Yeah, but Vegeta, his character development is probably the best of all time. Even when he was a villain, he killed Nappa. Like, how you kill your partner?
Yeah.
It's just crazy, but he's near and dear to my heart.
I think the tipping point for Vegeta for me, where I was like, I was on Vegeta's side right from the rip off that time. But in Dragon Ball Super, when he was fighting against Top, and when Top was like, I threw away everything to get this power, and how pissed off Vegeta got, like, bro, like, fam, I got family. Like, you throwing away family for power? You don't do that. Like,
there's so many Vegeta moments.
Yeah, I just love that moment.
Let's go back to Buu Saga.
Right.
When he said, first of all, when he did the neck thing to Trunks, it was like, you gonna knock your son out? And then he finally has an unselfish moment. He's dedicating it to his wife, Bulma. Like, I was obsessed reading fan fictions, all that. Like, he never expressed his emotion. And to see this, like, man, that's why I'm like, I don't like when people don't put respect on DBZ.
Right.
So I definitely think it needs to have a solid place in the big three, because what would the other anime be without Dragon Ball Z?
Well, I mean, I tell people all the time, the big three is like Mount Rushmore. You don't swap it out. And, because everybody always try to be like, oh, it's the new big three. I'm like, no, it's Naruto, Bleach, and Dragon Ball Z. That is the big three. That is the big three.
And they keep trying to add stuff, and I'm like, see, it's the new generation. I'm like, I'm gonna let y'all slide.
Yeah,
but
right,
for sure. Yeah.
But like, going back to Vegeta, the one thing, like I said, he don't show emotions, but he have moments, because like even when Beerus slapped Bulma, this is the god of destruction, and Vegeta up until that point he's been bowing down, scared of Beerus, but as soon as he touched Bulma, oh no, you catching these hands, bro.
Like, you know what though? I will say, as like a diehard Vegeta fan, it was different seeing him in GT, which I don't usually like to speak about, GT and Super, because there were moments where he was kind of soft, and I'm like, all right, you're a little too soft now, but just a lot of things I had to get used to. I had to get used to the glossiness of Super. I was like, my eyes.
Yeah.
I need more of the 2D that I'm used to. I said, you know what? I'll adapt. I'll adapt.
But like I said, for me, like I said, when it happened, I'm saying, the character. So I got into Super late. I didn't know that Dragon Ball Z came back, and then I remember I was seeing like clips of Goku Black, and I was like, why is Goku hair red? And people were like, no, and I was like, wait, what is this? I was like, blue hair. It's a lot. And I think also, especially because we grew up on it, it's like, whoa, it's a lot to take in. So I'll be honest, I hadn't even finished Super. I have not finished Super. Don't get mad at me. I'm gonna finish it later. But it's, it was a lot to take in. Like, even when they came out with DBZ Kai, I was a little jealous. Because they didn't have all the fillers that we had to grow up with. Yeah, they did. And all the reruns. Like, I used to email, and I don't know where the email was going. This is like back in the AOL days, but I was just like, Toonami.com. Why do y'all keep going back to the beginning of DBZ? We just got to the Cell Saga. Now y'all going back to the Vegeta Raditz Saga. Like, don't do that. So I was like, it was life for me. So not emailing the studio. I hope one day you get hired by Toonami, and then it's just like some random person like, hey, okay, I got this whole bunch of emails from. Was this you? Like that would be hilarious.
That would be hilarious, man. Oh my gosh.
Like, everybody has the stereotypical on what a black geek is. Are you familiar with the term blurred?
Blood, no.
Right. Some people said it came off of Scrubs. Some people said it came off the internet. I don't honestly really know.
Don't you see the skin, the eyebrows, the hair?
Yo, white geeks still rock, Dunks or Jordans or whatever.
Did I do that?
It's exciting. It's like, holy, oh, my dog is gonna start barking.
It's all right.
She's excited about it too.
And same as you said, like a barbershop talk, like we would go into really in-depth conversations about these theories and like, well, what if and how come?
It's not unusual to be
right? But we talk about anime, video games, comic books, and stuff like that. But when you hear us talk about it, the passion sounds like we arguing Jordan and Bron.
What do you mean? What does that even mean? What does that even mean?
Like, it sounds like barbershop talk.
Because you don't know the history. Don't mean it ain't happened,
You broke that down right there.
But when you see the black geek, you don't see that. You see the socially awkward glasses. Well, this is me. And that's not a lot of us. A lot of us do sound and talk like us. You know what I'm saying?
Because it becomes stereotypical, as if that's where our strength comes from.
I don't know the geek that you talked about before. I know the geek you're talking about right now, though.
It was sort of a call sign so we could find each other on message boards.
Anime gives you life lessons throughout that whole thing. Like, there's not one anime that I know of that doesn't teach you to never give up.
It's just like, I just love seeing us go into the world and go into these different spaces and create things that weren't there before.
And then it was like Miles Morales is like the normal, black person in the United States.
That was my first blurred moment, was seeing, Storm on the X-Men cartoon series. And I was like, wow, that's a black woman and she's strong, she's powerful.
That's what I want for us. I want us to be that voice. But speaking of not finishing animes, have you finished Shippuden yet?
For Naruto Shippuden, no. Here's the thing. When I say I used to be obsessed with Naruto Shippuden too, so Naruto I started watching in high school. Yep. Shippuden, it came out like in 2009, 2010. And so I watched that all the way through to like the Madara Tobi arc, like after Pain, which that was probably the best arc of Shippuden. But it did kind of waver. And then I was like, Boruto, this is what I'm saying. They're going so fast. Y'all gotta give us a chance to, since we're older, it's like we don't have as much free time to watch anime back to back like I used to as a kid. But yeah, man, it's different. But Shippuden, I was obsessed with. Like, oh my gosh, I still have the anime theme songs on my phone.
Oh yeah, I mean, because like Naruto now, they got some fire themes. Like that's that's one of the ones where I'm like, you can let this rock. Like I'm not gonna hit skip intro on this one. I'm letting this one rock.
Yeah, Naruto.
Soon as Bluebird drop, like Bluebird, that is my jam.
Yeah, yeah, that one.
Right, it goes so hard.
Yeah, I was like, you better sing, girl. There's a whole bunch of them. Like, yeah, there's the one I have. I'm about to see it here. It's like Tome Dakota. It's the one during the Pain saga where Jiraiya is like that one. It was like, oh, that one. Yeah. That's one of my favorites.
That's why I love creators like King Vader who hip hop it out, because I swear that theme, that Naruto theme, that dun dun dun, dun, and I can't in my head I don't hear the original. I hear King Vader's and I do the dance. You got to do the King Vader dance. Like, but it's like I love it. And that's when I interviewed him. That's one thing I told him. I said, if you stop everything else you're doing, don't stop that. Continue to give us that, because it's so culturally important. It's everything my makeup is. It's that blending up hip hop and geek culture, and I love us for being able to do stuff like that. When during Black History Month, we did a project and we asked over 30 blurs, what does Black History Month mean to you and things like that. And we had one question that was like, first thing that you think of when you think of blurred culture plus Black History Month put together. And it was so many dope conversations, and dope answers from it. But one of the things that somebody said, it was like the art. It was like when you see like the hip hop version of SpongeBob and Bugs Bunny or Vegeta and Supreme and stuff like that, it's like that is us. That is art culture, blending those cultures, because that's how we see it. We see these people as cool cultural pushers, as people that are, and so it's like, but it's like I love that. It's like, because it gives you ideas, it sparks such a dope conversation and gives you such dope identities and things like that. But it was like I love when we are blending things like that and doing it at a high level.
I love it too, because it's like it shows us too that we're seen. Yeah. Because like when I didn't even realize that there were other Black voice actors for real until 2020. Honestly. Like, we still need more of us. Like, I understand we're definitely making strides, but it's just the fact that like we still need more. So yeah, salute to King Vader, to Supreme Dreams. They're killing it. And it makes me feel like, dang, like maybe I should have done more to like keep up like what I was doing with my anime music videos or some way somehow, but I'm like, you know what, like you're still here, like there's room, you know.
And I know, given the opportunity, you'll, like I said, you can jump back, reach back in it. It's like you're forever embedded in the culture, and it's even just like, you know, just seeing the people that you talk with on the timeline, because that's also it, just being able to have those moments where, because I feel like Black Twitter during Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan, we had the best commentary every Sunday. It was faithful. It was just, but it was so much going on in both of those animes. I think the funniest meme I saw, because during that time also Euphoria was going, and it was a meme like watching Euphoria, Demon Slayer, and Attack on Titan on a Sunday night. This is how you feel, because it was like you go through an emotional roller coaster.
You do.
These last seasons, it was like, what is going on?
And when I say I've been obsessed with Attack on Titan, like, oh man, I love it. I love it so much.
Okay, so I know that we still got, they're going to do another one. Are you still on Aaron's side, or did you jump off the train?
It's tough, because I'm like, yo, he's one of the best like protagonists, antagonists, like what? Totally threw me for a loop. And see, because I don't read the manga for Attack on Titan, so like everything just came in, but it's been so entertaining. And you know, like some of my peers, I watch it dubbed sometimes too, but I mostly watch sub. And even the voice actors sub, killing it, like the emotion, I feel everything. So it's tough, because man, I'm still Team Aaron.
Me too. Thank you.
My people out.
Team Aaron.
Knock me out. And see, here's the thing. Like with Attack on Titan, me and my brother talk about this. We feel like it's about Black people.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, like y'all trying to enslave us, and then you mad because we want to break out and do our own thing. Like that's what it is. The whole colonization and the segregation. Man. And then, I get it. Aaron's like, look, not after you ate my mom.
Right.
You put us through all this hell, but at the same time.
No, but
crazy.
Not even just that. So I got into Attack on Titan as they were going into season 2, right? Because I would see it on Adult Swim, and I'm like, all right, you know, it's giants eating people, right? I didn't dive into it, right? And then one day I was like, let me check it out, because now in my head, up until that point, I'm thinking, okay, giants, they're probably messing up the town, eat people. When I saw that the Titan bit Aaron's mom in half, and then the blood splattered on his face, and I said,
and the music.
I said, what? I said, I gotta watch this all the way through now. I was like, what?
That's how you do a first episode. I said, y'all gotta learn from Attack on Titan, because that's what sold me. It was like you said, the blood droplets, and he's looking slowly, and then you hear the music, and you're like, what just happened?
I was like, God dang. And so I was like, and I think because I had such a shocking reaction to it, I held on to that throughout the whole season. So anytime people are like, Aaron tripping, I'm like, yeah, but the way they did his mom.
You ain't see, you must have seen what I saw.
Like, I felt like I was there. Like I watched it. Like, oh no.
Right. That's what I'm saying. And also, but here's the thing, because he has like the abilities to go back into time, like, Aaron, why didn't you just like stop all of that? But I think he was like, nah, it's too late.
Yeah.
Everybody gotta go.
Everybody gotta
go.
So
I'm not mad at it. I really am not mad at it. So
yeah. Did you hate Gabi? Because I really hate Gabi.
First of all, I'm like, I don't like that they call her Gabi.
Me too.
I said like in the dub. I was like, yo, just say Gabby. I'm sorry, but she's like
my process, I watch sub first, and then because my daughter loves watching stuff with me, then I watch dub. So now I'm currently watching dub. So I'm saying Gabi now, because that's what I've been hearing.
Yeah, I totally get it. Yeah. I was not feeling her. Feeling her, because she was doing too much. And I'm like, Falco is literally trying to tell you how things are about to go, and you're getting him in worse trouble. So I knew she would probably like turn a new leaf and get it together, but it just took a little too long for me. You killed Sasha. I can't forgive you.
And I hate how accurate she was, because like, bam, every time, like I said, she shot. Spoiler alert for those in, but like she shot Aaron's head off, and then she shot what's old boy name, redhead dude, when they was trying to stop the ship. I can't think of his name, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, when he had
she shot Aaron.
She shot
Aaron in the head.
And I mean, and then the guy, it was like the second to last episode when they was
the one who was supposed to be like checking, and then some other dude went up, and I'm like, see, you should have just gone up. You trying to be all extra.
And I'm just like, why is she so accurate? Like, why? Like, she is a little child. Get her out of here.
Aim. She gonna shoot. Okay. She got aim on her. Okay.
She got the aim. So I did want to ask you though, like, because I feel like every actor during their journey, they have like their white whale, their Moby Dick, their dream role. What does a dream role look like for you?
Man, I have so many. Well, for sure, I want to be a lead in a AAA video game. Okay. Definitely something on like PlayStation, Xbox, which I have some video games coming out later this year. Hopefully, I think this year it's supposed to come out. But I've had some auditions, so I'm like, I would love to like be a lead, have a lead role in that. I'd love to be a lead in an anime series, you know, be a series regular. I know I have it in me. I want to be this badass girl. I just feel like that's naturally my voice. I have some texture. Yep. You know, I definitely have the wide range, but I want to be another badass character who's just loved and respected. I want to have that show. I want like kind of like how Christina V has Miraculous Ladybug. Like I want my own show that I can carry. And so, you know, and even with Bratz, like with their talking Bratz segments, I'm like, Jaimie, that's your show. Like, but it sometimes just doesn't click. Yeah. But I'm like, you can do this. So not just anime, because you know, anime is great, but that's just a small portion of VO. Like I've done some e-learning and you know, video games and animation. So there's so much more to it. Right. But yeah, definitely anime. I want to also do a regular show series, something on Cartoon Network, preferably, or Disney Channel. Okay. Even Toon Disney. They need to bring Toon Disney back. Pepper Ann was a favorite of mine as a kid. So if I could have like my own Pepper Ann, stuff like that. Like I want things that my childhood self would love. Right. Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. And I like I said, I can see it for you. Like I said, we're going to use this clip. So when it happens, matter of fact, every time you hit it, I'm gonna play this clip. Like, hey, she said it here first on Geekset. Remember that? Remember that? Like, yes. But I love that because it's like, you know, that's the one thing too. Is like, you know, especially with like animation, being able to have those childhood like cartoons that influence, you know, so many minds. You know, like I love seeing things like Craig of the Creek and hearing Little Rel's voice and stuff like that, because I'm like, you know, it's like, even though I know it's Little Rel and my kids don't know it's Little Rel, but I do. And I'm just like, yo, this is really dope because this is like, and it's like, you know, this is like, it takes you back into those days growing up watching, you know, like, you know, Bobby's World or Pepper Ann or Doug or Recess. Is like, yo, like, this is wild because it's like, yo, this is something that I know they're going to remember. And then, like I said, 20, 30 years down, they're going to be like, oh man, you know what show I used to love as a kid? Remember Craig of the Creek? It was like, I just love that. So being able to see Black people jump into those roles and get those leads, and it's like, you know, and then also the show is not a show that got to be like, oh, it came out the struggle. Like, even though I love that, that's not all our stories. So I love, like I said, you know, seeing a Black show where it's just a show. These kids play in the backyard and they have this huge imagination. It's not about that. Or Doc McStuffins, where she just goes and make believe and play, and her mom's a doctor and she wants to be a doctor. Like, you know, like the one show that I wish come back, and I am tirelessly searching for the creator so I can interview her and have it. But Backyardigans, listen here, I love the Backyardigans so much. So my son, that was the first show that I would put on and to quiet him as a kid. You know, every parent does it, right? You have that show, so, you know, and when I found that and I put it on, and it's one of those shows where you're watching it, so I'm doing my thing, I'm cleaning, whatever I am, watching them, but then you find yourself like, watching it. They too bad. They had slappers, like songs that because they sung. So I watched this a lot. They sung 3 songs every episode. Okay. And each episode had like a theme. So like this episode may be like a salsa theme, or this episode may be like a, you know, Caribbean theme, or this one may be hip hop. And you know, right when they was hitting their stride, because they had one episode where Alicia Keys voiced somebody on there, and I'm like, that sounds like Alicia Keys. But it was like that show. I loved it so much because again, it was all about imagination. It was all about songs. But then even the kids, you can tell they were black. They had Tasha, they had Uniqua, they had Pablo, which was, you know, he represented Latin American. It was like they had all these characters. I was like, this is such a dope show, and I wish it comes back because I was like, it was such a good show for kids, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you need to put in a petition and be like, what, y'all need to get back. I was gonna say though, like just like everything you were saying, like our childhood is so important. That's why when I met Chris Sabat, I cried when I got home. Yeah. Like I was shaking when I met him. I have interviewed stars of all different levels, but I was really nervous in front of Chris, shaking. I was like, Jake, just listen what he's saying. And I'm like, it's a lot. But another thing I wanted to tell you, another role I want is I would love to have a Disney full feature movie premiere. Like I want to be in theaters, big screen. I want that role. I want to be in a Disney movie, Pixar as well. I want to add that there as well. Plenty of stars. Like I think you had interviewed Cedric Yarbrough.
Yes.
Didn't you interview him too? He's hilarious to me, you know, and I'm like, I want to work with him one day. Tara Strong, she followed me on Instagram, and I was like, what? I'm scared to get her. I don't know what I'm going to say, but you know, I'm claiming that me and her are going to work together soon too. And of course, Cree Summer.
Of course.
I got I need me and Cree. I'm going to play a family member of hers. I'm either going to play like her cousin, her daughter, something. It's in the works. We're gonna manifest.
Yeah, no, I love Pretty Summer so much. But and you know, so that same moment that you had with Chris Sabat, I had that with Deborah Wilson. Because I was like, when I interviewed Deborah Wilson, like soon as she hopped on the screen, I was like, hey, like my swag went all the way out the window. It was like, yo, this is Deborah Wilson.
I get it. Yeah, she's another one. That's I'm like, Lord, please.
Yeah.
That's the other thing with auditioning, you have to submit and forget. So I'm like, you know what, God's got it, but I'm gonna.
I learned that kind of how you were saying how you did audition and then you was going extra, but just like you didn't know, so you was going extra. So same thing, like, you know, as I've been going down this journey, I've been fortunate enough to talk to enough people that I'm like, you know what, let me do the work. I would like to do voice acting and acting. And, you know, I did a couple of background roles and I had a national commercial running and stuff like that. But I was like, let me try my hand, you know, at the voice acting and everything. And so like, I remember I got this casting call for this one show. And I was like, all right, so I'm gonna do this character. But I was like, you know what, let me give it to them like 5 different ways so they know I got range and everything. And I went all out and everything like that. And I remember when I submitted, the guy, he was like, man, you know what? You did a whole lot on this audition, and we was just really looking for this one thing. He was like, he was like, this is your first one? I was like, yeah. He was like, I can tell. And he was like, and he gave me some pointers and stuff like that. But it was like, I was going all the way in because I'm like, all right, I'm going against probably some heavy hitters, so I got to make myself stand out. And then in retrospect, like when I look back at it, I'm like, I probably shouldn't have did as much because I'm talking about like I added ambiance music to kind of set the scene. Like I was going, I went the work, and I was like, but like I had nobody that I can really pull from the act's advice, and it came so fast the audition. I was like, all right, well let me just do this. But you learn, and now it's been about 1.5 years of me working on my craft, trying to get there, and stuff like that, and I'm enjoying the journey. It's been a whole lot of no's, but I'm okay with it because I'm like, I know that this is a journey, and I know that I'm extremely new, and so I'm like, I'm just still. But it was like, yeah, you get that like not knowing, how this goes and stuff like that because it's like, we're generationally being the new. There's not, some people have that in their family that you can pull from, but it's like, I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I'm doing these interviews and this podcast and stuff like that. And I'm fortunate enough to get people like you. But when people ask me like the secret and stuff like that, I'm like, I don't even know if I'm doing this the right way. Like, like I got your info.
That's just started, like it's just starting is sometimes the hardest part. And everyone has like a moment where like, why did I do that? Like, oh my gosh, but listen, I mean, I like that you said you added some instrumentals and stuff. Like sometimes you do have to do like singing samples, or maybe they'll provide an instrumental for you when you got to edit, but it just depends. Everybody learns. Nobody starts off knowing everything. Right. Yeah. Not even Phil Lamar knew everything.
Right. Yeah. So, all right. So we got 2 segments before we get you out of here. The first segment that we do is top 5. So I'm not going to do the top 5 anime. I'm not because I know that that's always hard. But what I would like to do is your top 5 influences. Who are your top 5 influences? And a caveat, it doesn't have to be in order, and it can be currently right now. It doesn't have to be all time.
Right. And this mostly like VO, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. My top 5. Whoo! I love this question because I'll say one of them is Bill Farmer. Bill Farmer is the voice of Goofy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He did my animation demo. And so I got to meet him, and this was during the pandemic. And he's just like the nicest down-to-earth guy. Like his wife is from like Virginia, so we bonded over that. And it made me feel good. Like, again, not validation, but confirmation to hear him say like, oh, you're good, or to check on me and to know that I got an agent, and that was amazing. So Bill Farmer, Cree Summer, of course. I mean, where would really any of the Black actresses in voiceover be without Cree? And I knew Cree first from A Different World. That's what we grew up on. And then I remember hearing her and I was like, is that Freddie? Is that, and I was like, wait, she's Susie? And, and to see how she's killed it, because she's been in other roles that people don't always talk about, but she's killed it. And there's so many others, but Cree Summer, Bill Farmer, Cedric Yarbrough, who we from Reno 911, and what's the other one? Boondocks.
Yeah.
And let's see here, the others. Patrick Warburton.
Oh, that's a good one.
So he's from Family Guy. He was also in Hoodwinked. He was the wolf. His deep voice is just classic. Man, I'm like, I don't want to forget anybody. Most of the people, I'm like, I got one more. I got to make it. Oh, dang, no, see, I can't say that one. I'm thinking the other one would be, I know. If I could do this would be great. Billy West. Ooh. Billy West is from Futurama.
Yes,
I've had so many full circle moments. So I'm like, that would be another full circle moment. Like Chris Sabat, Bill Farmer, Creed, Tara, and Billy. The reason they'd be full circle, like Billy, 2015, I met him at the LA Awards.
Okay.
It was at this place called Whiskey A Go-Go. And this is like fall 2015. And he was winning like a Lifetime Achievement Award for his voiceover work. Okay. And my friend was winning an award for his singing. So that's why I was there. Okay. I sat right next to him like a creep. Because he probably even like, I was trying to pretend like I didn't know who he was. But they served us Domino's pizza. Andy Dick was there. Dr. Drew was there, like random, right? But I was like, what do you do? He's like, I'm the voice of from Ren and Stimpy and Bugs Bunny and Futurama. And I'm like, he's pretty much everybody on Futurama. Right. But I was like, that's awesome. So I tried not to be awkward, but I'm like, okay, hopefully we work together one day. So that's, I mean, all these people, like it's gonna happen one day, but I would love that.
Sitting next to people is very underrated. So we got booked at a convention to do a live podcast, and our booth was right next to Steve Cardenas, who was the second Red Ranger in Power Rangers when they swapped out with Jason, right? So we knew he was there, and so the whole time I'm like, all right, we doing our thing, but I'm just like, man, I would love to get an interview with him, but I know he's signing stuff and everything, and I'm like, I can't. So I was like, you know what? Let's just kill this show and maybe he'll just come over. So we was doing things intentionally, like, you know what I'm saying? Like having jokes, stuff like that. And lo and behold, probably like an hour and a half in, he comes over. He's like, yo, who are you guys doing? Like, with the Geekset podcast, we were, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh yeah, man. Like, I love hip hop and stuff like that. I'm like, man, I would love to interview. He's like, let's make it happen. And our first celebrity interview, he dropped right at I was like, yo, what up? It's Geekset podcast. We got Steve Cardenas here. And he goes, go, Geekset Ranger. I was like, you gave me the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger, but you put Geekset in it?
Speechless.
I was like,
that's all I need.
That's all I need.
Thank you. Yeah. That's all I needed.
So it goes full, full circle, because then later on at C2E2, we meet Adam Yost, who is the second Black Ranger, right? And he also does like a whole bunch of voice actors and everything like that. So, but it was like, being able to chop it up with him, and then, because like him and Steve came on at the same time. They came on during the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger movie with 1's. That's when they swapped out everybody, that's when that's when Aisha came in, like, so it's like being able to have those stories and stuff like that. It just helped out, but it's like, that full circle, and it all happened because our booth was right next to his, and it was so.
It just all happens. Yeah. Hopefully it happens, Also honorable mention, Pat Carroll. You know, she's the voice of Ursula. So, you know, God, well, I don't think she does voiceover anymore, but since she's still here, I'm like, man,
you got a villain voice in you?
I do.
Oh, there we go.
I look, because my register, I can go pretty low. So I'm like, I want to really have a role where they let me go deep and they let me be evil. You know, a villain is, I should have said that. See, there's so many roles, but yeah, I want to be a villain as a series regular villain. Definitely. Like I said, Disney movie as well, Pixar, Hayao Miyazaki, Studio Ghibli films, like those are the goals. So
okay, so this is just thought about it. Who's your favorite Dragon Ball Z villain?
Ooh, let me think. I already kind of know, but I'm like, let me just think, just in case I don't miss any. You said DBZ, so it's not like it's Dragon Ball or GT. See, it's like, I consider a good villain, like they're so good that you don't like them. Like that's how Ursula was for Disney when I was a kid. I didn't like her, I was so scared of her, but now I love her because she's iconic. So I'm gonna say my favorite villain is Frieza, even though I don't like Frieza. See, I can't say Cell because Cell has so many different forms and not all of them are cute. I said it. I was like, you know, and then Boo has all the different forms and Boo is a little creepy. Kid Boo, Fat Boo. So yeah, I'm gonna say Frieza. I'm like, let me make sure I'm not forgetting anybody. Not Emperor Pilaf. No, not Dr. Gero, because he's kind of boring. It's like we got the, you know, androids. They didn't really count to me. I'm gonna just say Frieza, just because that was probably the best one that we had. And then you could say Vegeta, but he's obviously guys. I'll say Frieza because Frieza destroyed Planet Vegeta. You destroyed a whole planet. You destroyed the whole planet. He's not even royalty no more. No one's gonna care that you're the Princess Saiyan.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Destroyed the planet and enslaved the rest that survived. Like, this is wild.
His daddy, his mom, like everybody, like it with one finger.
Yeah.
And it's just iconic.
One finger and laugh while he was doing it, like
maniacal. Like, it's like a light show, and I'm like, oh my gosh! And even the voice choice, I was like, is that a man or a woman? And when I was a kid, but it was a woman, but still, like, still evil, and then all the different forms that Frieza had. I mean, wow. And this is because of the Frieza saga, which is probably one of the most iconic sagas when they were on Planet Namek. That's when we saw Goku turn Super Saiyan for the first time.
Yes, we did. We
saw people die on TV with blood. Like, this was very new in the 90s. You did not see that like that. So I was like, this is amazing. Like, Goku is going off. Like, that's an iconic moment.
It is.
But I would say honorable mention, we can say Cell, only because we got to talk about Gohan. When he was destroying Cell and Goku is dead, but behind him then Vegeta comes in and intercepts. That is iconic.
It definitely is. That's Frieza is my favorite as well too, because of like the same things that you said. It's like you hate Frieza, but then it's like, dang, but he's such a good partner because like in Super, that team up between him and Goku was actually, it was legit. Like they was comboing and everything like that. But like, yeah, Frieza, like the same way that like Pain stressed you out on Namek side, when they was on Namek, it stressed you out because you like, dude, what? Like, Frieza, you just doing too much, fam. Like, get out of here. Not just
that, but like we had Ginyu Force too.
Yeah.
Like you had to think about, you know, the people that even looked up to Frieza. It was like the levels that came to it. And then just to see Krillin blow up, it was like, that was crazy.
It was wow. All right, so the last segment that we do is recommendations. It could be something that you're reading, watching, listening to, but something that you think that our listeners or viewers should check out.
Okay, cool. Dang, let's see. Well, one thing you should check out is my social media, but we'll get into that later. But another thing you should check out are my shows. So make sure you're watching Talking Bratz on TikTok. Hey. I do feel like more is to come with Bratz, so just stay tuned. Okay. RainbowHigh, we're in season 3. I'm on episode 1 and a couple other episodes to come. So make sure you're watching that on YouTube, and it'll be on Netflix probably by the end of the year or early next year. But Paris Hilton is also in it, so iconic as well. You know, I was like, my castmate is Paris Hilton. What? Who would have thought? And of course, Miraculous on Disney Plus. I'm not reading any manga right now, but like as far as I read a lot of self-help books, so things that just kind of keep you grounded. Just read in general. Read in general, meditate, all that good stuff. And then shows to watch. I just feel like I've been mad busy auditioning, doing all the things.
That's a good problem to have.
I mean, yeah, it's a blessing, you know, but other than that, I just watch a lot of old shows I've already seen. Like right now I'm watching One Piece over, and I'm about to start Bleach over again. Yeah, just doing those things. Then that's pretty much what anime fans do anyway. Sometimes we want to watch what we already saw. So
I got
that nostalgia.
I got this thing, my new sign off that I be telling people. I say, hey, if you all the people who watch anime, that anime that you got in your queue that's been sitting there for a year and a half, go ahead and watch it. Because everybody has a queue, and we have that anime that we're like, and we look at it every time like, oh, I'm gonna watch it finally, and we never do. So I've been trying to tell people, go ahead and watch it.
I have a great recommendation actually.
Okay.
This was the anime that I auditioned for and I didn't get it. It was the first anime I auditioned for, and I can say it now because I've healed. But when I auditioned for it and I didn't get it, like, because with anime, you will find out within a couple days if you got it or not. I was waiting like over a month because I didn't know the whole process. But when I found out, like, I was, of course, you're naturally hurt, but at the same time, I knew, Jaimie, if you do this, how are you gonna handle other auditions and other things that you want that you may not get? Make sure you follow those people who got the roles that you want. Learn from them. Watch it and see what you could have done better. And maybe you still feel like you did great. And I did follow those people, and I ended up working with those people that got the role on other projects. Nice. So this anime is called Akudama Drive. Have you seen it?
I have not.
It's good. It's good. Like, the dub is good. I watched it as well, but when I say it's good, it's short. It's like 10, 12 episodes. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh, I did see
and it's on Funimation.
I haven't watched it, but
it's wild.
I remember this. Yeah, the movie art, the artwork of it. I remember seeing it like, this looked interesting.
I think a lot of people were comparing it to like another anime that I haven't seen. It starts with a D, but yeah, Akudama Drive hands down is really good. I think it was probably one of the best anime of the fall season of 2020, hands down.
So what do you got? What's coming up next that you can talk about? Because I know you can't talk about everything.
You know what? Right now I can't talk about anything because everything else is an NDA. Like, literally, we can't talk about until we're allowed to. So that's the unfortunate part with that. But you know, we're booking, we're having sessions, and I'm still auditioning. So yeah, I just say send me the best energy ever, because there's some big projects that I really want to be a part of, but I'm also trying to, like, you know, again, forget and just hopefully they email me. But I have heard some good things, so I'm on the right track.
All right, awesome. Where can my people find you at?
All right, you guys, you can find me on Twitter at It's Jaimi Gray. So that'd be ITSJAIMIGRAY. And then you can also find me on TikTok at It's Jaimi Gray as well. And then on Instagram, to see me, you can follow me at Jaimi Gray. Again, JAIMIRAY.
Thank you. All right. Well, this has been one.
Also, guys, check out my website. All that. Yeah.
Get to the shop. Go ahead and buy
some merchandise. Stuff. You know, like get your pillows and your dolls. Get what you need. You name it. So.
Right. Turn this to a QVC episode. Like,
right.
All right. Well, this has been One-on-One with Deuces. I've been your boy Deuces. This has been the amazing, talented Jaimi Gray, and we are out. Peace.
Flawless victory.